Today is January 15th, 2023, and this video is about my personal views. Yeah, and yes, this video about a lot, like two stories I'm gonna talk about, like my two biggest fears, and one is the fears about being portrayed by my landlord, which is he portrays me and he told me I gotta move out within 30 days and stuff. That's one of the main reasons why I'm packing up 1/5 of my stuff, because if there's a betrayal by him, at least 1/5 of my stuff is already packed up, and I don't have to deal with the anxiety. I gotta hurry up, start packing and being out in 30 days, just in case. Because back in January, I mean, he told me I could stay here as long as I find another place, because my apartment is tearing up. I mean, I made a video about that, about that a few days, like a few weeks ago, at the beginning of the month, how like I supposed to have moved out on the 30th, 1st of December, and he was going to give me the end of January, and I ended up talking to him, I ended up convincing him, let me stay longer than that, trying to find another place, because I did put in the application in from the Buffalo Melissa Housing, Niagara Falls Housing Authority, including Rochester Housing Authority. I hadn't put no housing apartment in any other cities yet, which is if there's a betrayal by my landlord and stuff. Let's say somehow he fuck around, he betrayed me, and I gotta be out in 30 days. At least 1/5 of my stuff will be already packed, and I could just call up my friend Norman or my sister, and I could just move it into the U-Haul storage room, and maybe by faith, by some chance, by faith, another apartment is already open and available for me, just in case if there's a betrayal. My other story is about like early part of last week. I turned in my waiver paper into Social Security, and I messed around and gave them the permission about they could look into my financial statement, bank account, see how much I got in there, and then the day later, I had to go down there, had to rechange that and stuff in my like where Social Security don't have permission to look into my bank account, because that's my personal business and that's my privacy. But my biggest fear is the representative down there didn't update the information, but the representative, I mean, allegedly updated information. But my biggest fear is my information never got updated. That's one of my biggest fear. And then they sent me a letter. We looked into your account, but thank goodness the representative did give me a copy of my papers, a copy of my my paperwork, which is if they were to look into my account and I did not get them permission, I have a case against them, because I do got a copy of the paper what I signed. I do not get Social Security the consent to look into my bank account and stuff. And if they were to do it from looking at the other paper, the one I accidentally, but at least I got evidence and proof. I went down there and I got a case against them when I did not give them permission to look in there, when I did not give them authorization and stuff. But my biggest fear is that Social Security representative did update my information. I mean, but she says, but when I was down there, I mean, I'm confident she probably did, but my biggest fear is she didn't. That's my biggest fear is she didn't update my information. That's my biggest fear. I don't know, has she updated my information or not, but all I know is she copied the paper, the one I accidentally gave them consent, and I had to redo it. And where I marked down the check mark on the bottom check, on the check mark, I marked down, I do not give you consent to look into my account and stuff. But my biggest fear is her not updating it. But we'll have to wait and see. But I did make a previous video about that, talking about the update when I went down there and got it fixed. But if it ain't fixed, at least I possibly got a solid case against them, because I did not give them permission to look in there when I went down there the day after and got it taken care, where you don't have permission to look into my account. But I'm confident she may have had updated my information, and I wouldn't have an issue with that, and that problem is solved. But if it not, and something like that did happen and it wasn't solved, which is one of my biggest fear, is I might have a solid case against them, because she gave me a copy of the paper where I had marked down, you don't have consent to look into my bank account, and she stamped it too. and that's one of my biggest fears is her not updating it. But I'm confident she probably did, and when they see the work and stuff, everything will be okay, and I got that problem solved. And like I said about my other fear is the fear of my landlord betraying me, but if, like I said, I'm getting 1/5 of my stuff packed, and if it is a betrayal, at least 1/5 of my stuff is packed, and that saved me for a lot of anxiety. And that's all I gotta say.